Hey, this is Dr. Keith Hersey, and you are listening to the Destroying Diabetes podcast. Hi, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you listening, taking the time out of your day to listen to our podcast. We appreciate all the support that we've been getting, appreciate all the emails that we've gotten from our listeners, and just appreciate your support. And we just want you to continue to listen. If you can share our podcast, and best thing is to subscribe so that when a new episode comes up, you'll know about it right away, and you'll be able to listen to it as soon as it comes out. So we thankful for all the support, and I guess I'm still here. They didn't lock the doors on me, so they let me continue to record and do podcasts. So I must not be doing too bad. I think one day I'm gonna come in and everything will be padlocked and the lights will be off, and then I'll know it's time to call it quits. But again, just thank you so much for all the support. And so today, what I have uh, just uh just a great guest. I know I've gotten emails from some of our listeners that one of the biggest challenges that you have with your type 2 diabetes is that you go to the doctor, type 2 diabetes is diagnosed, or you may move from pre-diabetes to type 2 diabetes, and your doctor tell you, well, what you need to do is eat better and exercise. And they just leave it at that. They don't give you any kind of thing going forward. It's like, well, what do I eat? How do I exercise? What kind of exercise should I what exercise should I do? What's the best for me? How can I incorporate this into my life? I hadn't moved since high school or college or whatever, So what do I, I'm a little bit scared about trying to move after all this time. So what I did is that I brought as a guest today an expert in fitness and expert in getting you to move is Coach Janae. She has her like a personal training business. It's based here in the Triangle, North Carolina, and I brought her on today to help us like with some tips. I need some tips about how to keep moving. I mean, I don't know. So I'm here. I'm listening just like the rest of y'all. So I'm going to bring Janae on, and she can introduce herself, and then we'll get into some of the questions that I have.
Yeah, so my name's Janae. I am a certified personal trainer and a certified nutrition coach. And I'm working on other certifications as well too. And so I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I moved up to Durham, North Carolina around 2015. So it's been some years now, about 10 years, man, time flies. And I've been coaching for the last, I would say about 6 years. And I've interacted with many different types of people, depending on their lifestyle, their health, what ailments they might have, different things like that. And so I always try to make sure that everyone feels included. Um, and I always try to answer everyone's questions to the best of my ability. I'm always like, if I don't know the answer, I will go find it and tell you about it.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate taking time out of your busy schedule to drop some knowledge on us.
Yeah.
Well, one of the first things, like I said, probably the biggest question I have from listeners and clients is that
Mhm.
they get, like I said before, they get the diagnosis, or they may get the thing that their type 2 diabetes has gotten worse, and they adding on more medications, and they're saying like, well, you need to exercise. So what will you take, like somebody that's either newly diagnosed or the recommendation is giving them to exercise, what would you think would be the good tips for like first steps for people that are in that situation?
Yeah. So I would say there's 3 things, well, technically 4 things you wanna focus on. You wanna focus on your nutrition because now Now that you might have type 2 diabetes, your nutrition has to change. So whatever you were eating before, you might not be able to not necessarily not eat it, but have to adjust how you eat it and how much you eat it, right? You also got to look at your stress levels, because what's happening is that um, your cortisol levels are getting high, and that's pushing more sugar or glucose into your bloodstream. You got to check your sleep, and we have to sleep well. So that's also another thing we have to look at. So you want that 7 to 9 hours. It always depends on the person, but mostly 7 to 9 hours of rest, full complete rest. Um, and so that's another thing. And then the exercise comes in. So it's like all these things and then exercise.
Mhm.
And so for exercise, normally I tell people that are beginners or just starting to work out or just haven't worked out in a long time. I usually say start with one thing and then over time increase that. All right. And so a lot of things that you can do is you can go for a walk. If you're like, I can't walk that far, walk as far as you can, whatever that is. If that's just a lap around your living room, that's what you're gonna do. All right. You can like say park not in the front, but you park a little bit further back in the parking lot. That'll give you some walking outside of walking around the store. Um, Walking and talking on the phone. So instead of sitting down and talking on the phone, unless you have a landline that's still plugged in. But if not, then you can walk and talk. If you walk and talk, like you're moving in these ways, instead of taking the elevator, take the stairs. Now if you're like, okay, it's 12 stories, okay, cool, take a flight and then take the rest of the elevator. But just being able to make like those small adjustments to start you off first, and then after that, then we're kind of looking into, okay, what kind of equipment do you have at home? If you do have equipment, that could be a walking pad. You can adjust the speed, all right? So you can walk however fast or slow that you want, and you can get 10,000 steps in like a good hour, right? Say you grab dumbbells or kettlebells as well and start to do some movement with that, even if you're just sitting in the chair and just doing bicep curls, right? And then so you don't have equipment. And so that's kind of where, okay, well, use what you got. You got a gallon of laundry detergent, use that, lift that up, right? Um, you got chairs in your house, right? You can always sit and do squats. Okay, let me stand, let me sit in the chair. Let me stand, let me sit in the chair. If you like to watch TV and you watch a lot of TV during the commercial breaks, you might do that stand and sit until the commercials are done. TV show comes back on. Okay, I sit down and watch for a little bit. Commercial comes back on again. All right, I'm standing and sitting. You can also use your wall. Like say you're like, hey, my upper body strength isn't that great. Okay, let me lean against the wall and do some push-ups. All right. Even if it's just one. Okay, cool. That was a lot. Okay, 2 days from now, can I do two push-ups? A week from now, can I do three push-ups? And so just give yourself small steps. Don't just dive into the pool and try to do everything all at once. Just take one step at a time.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely definitely recommended. Like whatever you do, just making small changes and being
Yeah.
consistent with it is better than trying to do everything and then crashing and burning a few days later because you're not able to maintain it. Um,
Right.
so, oh, and then also like with um I think a lot of times that's good with like the things with push-ups because I know that's can be like intimidating to a lot of people because people
Mhm.
think about the old days when you were in PE and they make you go all the way down and you cheat
Yeah.
all the way down. And it doesn't have to be like that to be effective. What is kind of like the best guideline with that?
Yeah. So usually I start people with just like leaning against the wall. So like you're kind of at an angled position. And then just coming towards it and pushing away. But even if that's a lot, that's where you can kind of bring in either a dumbbell or the laundry detergent. And if you're just standing with your arms straight down and just like lifting it up, because at that point you want to strengthen your forearms a little bit more. You want to strengthen your shoulders a little bit more. So it depends on if we have any injuries or not. But just in case we don't, that's something that you can start doing. You can do front raises because now we're strengthening the front of our shoulders. Um, and then another thing we could do is you can always do, like I said, if you're sitting in a chair, you can always do some type of curl too. That's also going to build your biceps, but also strengthen your forearms as well. And so these are good ways to be like, okay, I am getting a little bit stronger and to kind of like be excited about it. Now, that doesn't mean, okay, I did 3, let me go eat a piece of cake to celebrate, you know?
Mhm.
But definitely being like, "Oh, well, I did 1 today. Let's see what I can do next week. Okay, I did 2. Okay." And just give yourself some joy around it. Like, don't always think anything negatively about exercise because then you're not gonna wanna do it ever, right? Another thing you can always do too is even with your push-ups, say somebody's in the house with you, they can do them with you. And so having that partner or accountability partner can also make it more exciting. Play the music you like to listen to. That will make it more exciting and fun.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, that's definitely is that's the best way is just trying to find a way to incorporate it into your like your daily life where you're able to do it consistently.
Right.
I know a lot of times when people have a question about doing aerobic activity, like which
Mhm.
ones are better and how long do I need to do it? People usually hear like 30 minutes of aerobic activity.
Mhm.
Is that the best or what? How does that work?
Yeah. I would say the goal would be 30 minutes a day. But I'm also on the side of however much time you have, do that. Because
Mhm.
everybody has different time pockets throughout the day and how long they can do something. And sometimes you might even think, dang, 30 minutes is a long time. But you can always break that 30 minutes up throughout the day. So something that I always to suggest is like, after you eat lunch or dinner, go for a walk, even if it's like a 5-10 minute walk. And if you do that throughout the day, your 30 minutes, you got probably still a good amount of steps in between about 8 to 10,000. So I would say walking is always a good way to start. And then because I know some folks are like, oh, like I really want to go run, but I haven't run in like 10 years.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like, it's one thing to like leisurely run and like
yeah,
play with your kids running, and then
yeah.
there's another type of way.
Oh
So
yeah.
definitely being able to just like start with walking and then do like a 1 minute walk, 30-second run, and kind of make it more that interval. And over time, increase your run time and then decrease your walking time. But that's going to take time. But that also gives you like something else to do and look forward to. So it's not something you have to do all the time. But definitely, we're always walking around. But now you have to be a little bit more intentional about it. And then if you're like, hey, I don't really have time to go walking, or I'm taking care of someone and I can't leave. Okay, well, do 10 jumping jacks along with your 5 squats, something like that. Give yourself some sort of circuit to do. You can do little shuffles around the room, going to side to side. You can run from one side of the room to the other side of the room, back and forth that way for 60 seconds. And then that way, like, okay, well, I can't leave, but I'm still doing something at home.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely the main thing is just trying to get active,
Mhm.
get the blood flowing, just also the big benefit or whether you feel like it's a big benefit as far as movement and stress. How does that correlate?
Yeah. So, pretty much what happens is our happy hormones start firing um as we exercise. And so that kind of over time decreases stress. Because what's happening is because your cortisol levels are high and your stress levels are high, it's just pumping more sugar into your bloodstream. And if you're just not doing any type of exercising, you're always going to feel like you're dragging all the time. You're always going to feel like heavy, and not like body weight heavy, but just like you just feel heaviness. And so adding exercise into your routine really definitely gets the happy hormones firing, and it also reduces and starts to lower your cortisol levels, so that way you start to feel a little bit more lighter. And this also comes alongside with eating better.
Mm. Yeah, 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 yeah. And then I think that is kind of ironic that ancestors had some things, right, and we didn't know it. I know that my especially my grandparents and after they had a big meal or the big Sunday dinner we used to have, they would go and walk around the neighborhood for
Mhm.
like 20, 30 minutes or whatever, stuff like that, just kind of like thing. And they walk around and wave to everybody and say hello or whatever. But actually,
Right.
that's helping to manage like their, without them knowing it, like their blood sugar by taking that 10, 20-minute walk around after you eat.
Right.
Then
Because
you don't
they're
have
taking
such
that
that
walk.
spike. Yeah.
Right. Because you're taking that walk as exercise, but then you're seeing people that you know. So you're stopping to talk to people that you don't see all the time. And so that's where like all the happy hormones start to come in. And so the heart and the body are starting to feel good.
Yeah. 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 So that's definitely, like I said, that they had it right, and we didn't even know it.
Right.
All this technology and advance, they had it right at 100 years ago.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so what would you do to just encourage somebody that, like I said, they may be intimidated by having to feel like they have to move, and they may feel self-conscious about, moving, and going out and people seeing them move, and they may just, well, what would you say to just encourage that? I know we have some people that listen to us that may be feeling like that.
Yeah. So I would say my number one thing is to have an accountability partner. Um, and that's somebody, just not any random person to be your accountability partner. You want somebody that's positive and that's going to encourage you and push you. Because I can have an accountability partner and I say, oh, dang, like I don't really feel like going to go walk right now. And they'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, go lay down and chill for a sec. Like you want that person that's going to say, hey, like let's go walking. We said we're gonna go walking at 6:30 and it's 6:15. Like let's meet up at this location and go walking. Um and another thing too, if like you're ever nervous of people like seeing you, most of the time people not paying attention. They're in their own world.
Yeah.
But you can also like just pick a time in what I call like the low traffic time of people being around. Um and so for example, at the gym, I know if I go around 12, if I go around 11 to 1, it's packed a lot of people in there. So sometimes I'll go beforehand or I'll go at like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the evening when I'm like, okay, nobody's really going to be there and they not paying attention to me. They doing their own thing. And that's the same thing, even if you're like, hey, like I want to go down to the track and go walking. Can you come with me? That person's going to say, sure. And then y'all might go. Of course, you want, depending on what time of year it is,
Yeah.
depending on what time you really want to
Mhm.
go. But currently, since it's a little bit warmer, but not too hot, you still might want to go maybe around 8, 9 o'clock while everybody's at work. If like, well, I work too. Okay, well, let's go around like that 7, 8 o'clock when like there's a little bit less people out, but it's still daytime. So you're not just like walking in the dark. So I would definitely say pick a good time to go, and you can always use Google too and see like the time frame that's like the busiest and then just go on the less busy times. And then definitely have that accountability partner that's going to come with you because then both of y'all are walking and you're not by yourself, you know.
Yeah, definitely. The biggest thing is to just to do something, and the more consistent that you can do it, the better results that you'll see. And just so
Exactly.
it's not going to be overnight, but just doing a little bit at a time over a long period of time, you'll be amazed when you look back, 2 or 3 months or even 6 months from when you got
Mhm.
started, how far you've come in that time by just doing a little bit, not doing something, overwhelming, or you're gonna
Right.
decide to train, go from being on the couch to try to run a marathon,
Right.
something like that,
Right.
that you don't set yourself up for not being successful. So um
Right.
okay, well, again, Janae, just thank you so much for these tips. I hope that our listeners are able to get something out of it, that they're able to, use and apply that to their situation. And then also, I know that if there's any kind of parting words you want to say, and then I know that you're also um, available like on social media, and that's, it can encourage others to follow you and what you're doing. I know that you provide tips and things all the time on social media. So, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'll just give you the floor to give any kind of last parting words to our audience.
Yeah, yeah. So I would pretty much say, um, you're doing great, and to literally just start moving, even if you only do something for 5 minutes a day, whatever that is. If you're like, hey, I want to start walking, it's only the beginning of the month. So you have the rest of the month to say, okay, let me walk every day for five or more minutes, you know. So try to find something that you can be consistent with daily, and then you will start to see the results. Um, and you can, of course, come follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram and on Facebook. The handle is Train with Janae, Janae. So you can follow me there. I'm always like posting things in my stories and trying to give tips and fun things there. I try to spotlight my life a little bit, but I don't really do as much as y'all think I do.
Mhm.
I'm very chill.
Mhm.
So you definitely follow me there on Instagram and Facebook, and then you'll have my link in the notes.
Yes.
And that way, in case you want to come check out any of the workouts that I do in Raleigh, in the Raleigh area, then come on by. I also do virtual as well, so we can always talk
Okay.
about that too.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. I know that this is busy, especially this time of year, and I really appreciate you taking some time to come in and provide some good words of wisdom for our listeners. And this is something definitely I have a lot of feedback from emails from our listeners that this is a topic that they wanted me to try to address, and I'm glad that you are able to provide some information for them, and hope that people take heed of the information that you get, and use that to help make some positive changes in their life and in their health. So again, I just thank you so much for agreeing to appear with us today. And I just wish you continued success with your personal training program. I'm sure that you'll never, you're always busy, and you're never out of work, because everybody can use some assistance in getting incorporating movement into their health and some guidance. So if you're someone in the Triangle area and you're looking for someone to assist you, someone that really knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about, and just like a friendly person that will help you reach your goals, just look up Janae and Train with Janae. Like I said, that's handle, and you can find her on Instagram and Facebook. So again, just thank everyone for listening. We really appreciate the support. Again, share this episode with someone that may need some assistance. You may have a friend or family member or colleague that's maybe they may not even be like type 2 diabetes, but they want to find ways to incorporate movement into their life, or movement to improve their health, improve their mind, release stress. I mean, there's so many benefits from movement, and we just we would really appreciate if you share this episode with them. Also, like, subscribe again to my podcast so that you're alerted when we have new episodes to come out, and also like you'll be the first one to know and the first one to be able to listen. Again, like, we also have our email in the show notes. If you have any questions that you want us to address, or any topics to address in future podcasts, or if you even have like a guest or a suggestion of a guest that you think will be good on the podcast, I'm willing to get that. So thank you again for your support. Thank you, Janae, for agreeing to be on the podcast. And then, as we always say, that, we want you to be informed and be well. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this informative journey. The content of this podcast is solely the professional opinion of the host for informational purposes only. It should not be considered a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you're experiencing any health issues or concerns, we strongly recommend that you seek the counsel of a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes.